Hello and welcome back to Mic Mayhem. My name is Joey and today's topic is all about pets. Now, as some of you might know, I've got a couple of pets running around, so maybe they'll make an appearance. Speaking of one, here he is. Psst. Okay, there he is. So, we dive into our first story, which he doesn't want to hear. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out after she left all of my pets outside? I live in a house that's literally surrounded by woods. There's a lot of wild animals that prowl around. And so I've been very careful when it comes to my pets. My sister has been staying with me because she doesn't even have enough money to pay for her own apartment. She's a generally unpleasant person and she doesn't like my pets, but a few days ago my friend had an accident and wanted me to stay the night with him. So I fed my pets, took my dogs out for a walk, and asked my sister to watch them while I was gone. She agreed and I left. When I came back, I found out that my sister had left the animals, 2 dogs and 2 cats, outside. Something that I specifically asked her not to do because there are not outdoor animals and because of the wild animals that lived around me. Thankfully, they hadn't wandered off and were relatively unharmed, so that was good. But I immediately went and demanded to know why my sister had gone against what I specifically asked her not to do. She said they were annoying and gross and that they wouldn't stop bugging her. Just to be clear, the dogs are trained to go lay in their beds if somebody tells them to stop. And the cats don't even like my sister, so they never bother her. This one does. We got into a huge fight because of a whole ton of things could have happened to my pets and she didn't even care. And I eventually told her to go and stay with her boyfriend. She got all teary and said that I was her only brother and I was supposed to care about her. And I replied that I did care about her, but that we never got along. And said that I was too angry for her to stay with me. And she packed up and left. I don't regret the general argument, but was I too harsh for kicking her out? No, you are not harsh for kicking her out. But no, you're not the asshole for kicking her out. I mean, why would she leave your animals outside? That's weird. You asked her not to do that. She goes against your wishes. Kitty, speaking of going against my wishes, you do too. Someone says, not the asshole. She could have killed your pets and then she would have the audacity to guilt trip you. Dealing with the pets was part of living with you. They were there before she was. If she couldn't handle it, she couldn't stay. On to our next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to return a lost pet? So, over 2 years ago, a cat appeared in my yard. He was skinny, skittish, unnurtured, and had a serious abscess on his rump, likely from a cat bite wound. I took him to the vet that night and had him treated. Kitty. The vet estimated he was about 6 months old. I called the local county shelter to file a found cat report. I also posted on Craigslist, posted his info in a local vet's office, and kept an eye out for flyers. He was scanned for a microchip, but he didn't have one. At this point, I didn't intend on keeping him and planned to find a home when he was healthy. After his abscess healed, he was still limp. We discovered his hind leg had been fractured and healed poorly. I spent several thousands to fix it, and he just sort of slipped into the family. To recap, I found a sick cat and spent a good chunk to get him healthy. The cat had no ID and no one responded to my efforts to find the owner. I have now had the cat for almost 2.5 years. Recently, someone contacted me on social media claiming to be that cat's original owner. The cat has distinctive markings and he has pictures to back it up. They allowed the cats to free roam and assumed he had been killed when he failed to return home one night. The owner's daughter was pretty upset by the loss. He wanted the cat back. I refused on the basis that I have now had the cat longer than the original owner did, and his lack of responsibility in searching for the cat or providing for a form of ID. I feel like I did my due diligence and now I'm very attached to the kitty in question. I also worry about his future if I did return him. I have been told, the owner and some of his friends, that I am a giant asshole for disappointing the daughter and stealing the cat. I think they're assholes for writing the cat off as dead without a search and expecting me to give him up after 2 years. No, you're not the asshole. I'm just wondering how do you just discover like your cat has been gone for 2 years and now you discover that your cat is all of a sudden healthy? How do you do that? It's strange to me, but no, you're not getting the cat back. And if you do, you're probably gonna pay the fucking insurance. Someone says, keep the damn cat. The daughter can be that sad about 2 years ago. After you put the money into fixing that poor guy, he was yours no matter what. Someone says, you're not the asshole. You're the person who is actually taking care of the cat. You're the human that the cat deserves. Keep the cat. You were chosen. Amen. On to our third story. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this type of videos. Am I the asshole for declining a pet sitting job because I have had to sleep on the couch? I'm 219F, a feed tech who owns their own pet sitting business and am trained groomer, so I am well known in the city's pet community. I've had pet sitting business for about 7 years, and not once in that time have I ever been told to sleep on the couch. I always been either in a guest room or the main bedroom with clean sheets. I was speaking to a potential client and we were doing to meet and greet, and I was getting to know their dogs. After asking where everything was and the usual, I asked her where I could be sleeping. They pointed to the couch. It was more of like a love seat based on the size. I'm 6'1" and stretched out, I'm longer than the couch. My feet will, without a doubt, hang off. If I sleep with my legs pulled in halfway across my body hangs off. The sit they required would be for 10 days, and that's just not doable sleeping on a tiny couch. I apologized and declined and left. Since then, they've been trash talking me to anyone that will listen and even wrote a nasty review on my business page. I have mixed reaction amongst friends and clients. Some sided with me saying that I am a hired professional caring for their animals and not some buddy of theirs needing a place to crash for a couple of days. Others said I should suck it up for the money and it's no big deal. Now I feel guilty and am questioning my decision and declining. Edit. Thanks for all the replies. It's nice how to know I'm not crazy or a diva. Many of you suggested getting an air mattress as a backup. While I do still think it's on the clients to provide reasonable accommodation for a service they hire, I will invest in one should it be a sit I would like to take. Jeez. Perhaps for a short sitting, but I think we can all agree 10 days on an air mattress is still not ideal. Are you the asshole in this story? No, you are not the asshole in this story. I mean, why? It's strange. You're not the asshole. Sorry, you're not the asshole. Someone says, you're not the asshole. You have a right to turn them down any job that does not meet your requirements, especially for 10 days. A decent place to sleep is part of the deal. They are complete assholes for trash talking you. Not the asshole. If you can reply to the review, just state that you declined the job as the sleeping arrangements were not sustainable for a 10-night job. Honestly, what person thinks that putting someone on a couch is suitable? People who cannot afford their service. That's usually a thing I say. It's like people who are not able to afford this service, like this one, just pretend they have like a lot of money, but they can't afford anything. On to our last story. Am I the asshole for yelling at a man who reached into a yard over my fence to pet my dog without my permission? My dog, my 5-year-old, and I were in the front yard. The kid and I were planting bulbs and my back was turned towards the street. I turned back to see a stranger reaching across the fence to pet my dog who was secure behind the fence. I told him to stop and he didn't have my permission to pet the dog or come into my yard. He said that he was petting my dog because he was barking at him and wanted to neutralize himself as a threat. To me, a single woman living alone with a small child that sent up alarm bells. I basically yelled, that makes it sound like you're a threat and that if a dog is barking, you move along. And I told him, you need to get away from my house right now. He tried to argue, which freaked me out more, so I sent my kid inside and called my dog and told him to shut the fuck up and that I didn't want to hear it, that he didn't know my dog and he shouldn't reach into a stranger's yard and only a creep would say something like neutralize a threat, argue about his rights about touching someone's dog when they have expressed that they were uncomfortable, and only a person who was incredibly scary would continue to stand around a yard after a woman with a small child has clearly expressed that she feels like she is in danger. I grabbed my dog and told him I was going inside to call the cops. Not really, but I would have if he didn't leave when I went inside. Then I see a post on a neighborhood Facebook group where he is ranting about unfriendly people and calling me psycho and even pinpointing the street and cross street I live on. He has everything to say he should call CPS on me because clearly I'm abusive and I absolutely am not abusive. He made me scared for my child and myself. Some people were agreeing with him, commenting that if I didn't want people to pet my dog, I should secure him. I don't know how else I could have secured my dog more than a closed 4-foot tall fence that kept him out on my own property. I got online and pointed out the facts he excluded, like arguing with me about whether or not I should feel safe after a man has said he was trying to convince my dog to like him, and the fact that he all posted my address on social media. Then I reported him to the admin and they took it down. But I still feel uncomfortable, a little freaked out. I feel a little insecure even. Am I the asshole? Edit for clarity. I wasn't upset that he pet my dog. I was upset that he argued his right to reach into my property and essentially told me I was okay for him to pet my dog whether I liked it or not, because we were in the front yard and apparently fences mean nothing. And he didn't respect my fence or my boundaries after I asked him not to touch my dog. Damn, you're not the asshole, but this guy is a creep. I wouldn't trust this guy. And having this interaction is one thing, but then also him blasting you online is weird. Why would he blast you online unless he has something to hide, in my opinion? But also, when a dog barks, it barks for a reason, not because you want to be friendly. But we could go into a rant all about that. But hey, someone says, I'm not the asshole. Dog is there for protection, and dude sounds like he could be getting ready to try something, winning over the fur baby, and then acting all hurt about freaking out with a good reason about it. Yeah, he does. It's just weird. Someone else says, not the asshole. When I first started reading, I thought you were overreacting because although it may be annoying, some people just likely pet other dogs, even though that really shouldn't. Once he told you about neutralizing himself as a threat, that's when my mind changed and I agreed with you that that was a creepy thing to say, and the fact that it continued to argue with you after you clearly communicated your discomfort speaks volume. Good on you for sticking up for yourself. That's a positive comment to end it on, and I would say thank you guys for watching. If you have another story to read, don't forget to drop it in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.